Today, a quick update again on Bitcoin and Ethereum. We'll also take a brief look at Solana and XRPQ because that's going to be very, very interesting as well. Current crypto news I have for you, Crypto Wall Street posted this very well. Trump and his Secretary of Commerce have actually signed the US-China trade deal, and that was already 2 days ago. Super interesting. It was said that the agreement is finalized and the deal is done. For now, there are also no counter tariffs. We'll just have to see how things develop further and whether India will be next to enter into a new deal. We also shouldn't forget today the core price index is coming out, which is super interesting. It's actually expected to be neutral. That means the numbers are supposed to stay at 0.1 at 0.1. What does that mean? It could be ideal for a possible interest rate cut so that this number doesn't rise. If we actually see higher numbers, that would be ultimately bearish for the market because it could stand in the way of a rate cut. If it turns out lower, that would of course be even better. But this data is used to see how inflation is developing and what might be coming up for the next interest rate decisions. Now, if we look at the Bitcoin chart, the Bitcoin chart looks really interesting. So I'm going to switch over to my other section as well. And what you can see right now, after this breakout here, also from this long downtrend line, we've now had 2 direct retests on it. And that lines up exactly with my key level. What I've marked here are strong liquidation zones based on the liquidation heat map. This is just a 3-day chart. But if we look at Bitcoin on the 1-week chart, these are the 2 clusters I've marked, which are super interesting for how things could develop in the near future. If we see a bullish event today based on the data, I would expect a pump in this price range here. For me, there's also a short position waiting in this price range. But what's also super interesting is to grab this liquidity because we have a fair value gap with this candle. Not only that, and as I showed you earlier, this exact liquidation cluster is at around 103,550. And that would also be within this price range I've marked here. What else would support this? If we take a look, should we get a pullback and we see this based on the Fibonacci level with the current high, then it would be around the 0.5 to 0.559 level where we could fall to, which is also where I would have opened a long position again, because at this point in time, things are actually very unclear. What we're currently seeing is simply that after the rise we've had, we're now experiencing a rejection at these candle highs here. You can see this even more clearly on the 1-hour chart. And this rejection doesn't look very good for now. Of course, we could say, okay, we're forming a small bull flag here and we'll move up. But now with the numbers still pending, I wouldn't enter any trades here either. If we break below this long support here, I would actually short again right into these price areas, basically into my key level and maybe a bit below it. I would watch the markets there and wait for a new long position down here. If we take a look at all of this with Ethereum, Ethereum also looks very interesting at the moment because, and for that, I'll switch to the daily chart. We currently aren't able to break through this ascending resistance to the upside, which previously acted as support. In the 4-hour chart, you can see even more clearly that we've been trying the whole time to break back above it to get back over it. We briefly managed to get into the key level, into this consolidation here, but then we broke down again. And even now you can see that we've tested this ascending support line once, twice, 3 times. But unfortunately haven't been able to break through it to the upside. And if we look at this using Fibonacci, then with Ethereum we also have an opportunity to enter between 2,314 and around 2,266. Why? For what reason? Here as well I'll quickly switch to the 2-week chart I think. No, sorry, that was the 1-week chart. You can see here we have this liquidity lying below us and at the moment not much above us. I think you can even see it quite well in the 3-day chart that these liquidation clusters where Ethereum is currently being longed are lying below us at the moment and there isn't much above us. For this reason I would prepare myself to open new long positions here in case we actually dump downwards. Not only do we have the Fibonacci level here, we also have the liquidation cluster, but also this long key level marked in green, which you can see here. That would be a new support zone for me. And you can see here, you see this other white line. I'm switching to the daily chart. I'll make this one a bit thicker for you as well, so you can see what I mean here. This is a very, very long ascending trend line that we've actually been using as support since 2022. We've come down to it once now. We've touched it again now as well. With the recent war events, we've come down to it once more, but that would again suggest that we could find support here. And we would then have several confirmations for the likelihood of a reversal so that things could move upward again. Because if we now look at the daily chart overall for FIRO, it doesn't look so good since we're currently seeing a bearish price action here that could actually bring us lower prices. We don't want to hope that we'll actually go even lower, but rather that this could now be our reversal so that FIRO can finally reach prices around $2,800 again. Very briefly, let's talk about Solana as well. Solana is still in the downward trend channel. That was also perfectly tested with the latest negative news. We are also currently at this key level where we say that we shouldn't break downwards again here, but at some point this downward trend channel should actually break out to the upside, and that would be the next confirmation for me, so that we might see new higher prices here where you could perhaps consider taking long positions again. Because right now we don't have an active bullish divergence in the 4-hour chart that could indicate a reversal, but at least things look a bit better on the daily chart. We had a steady RSI, which can also indicate a divergence while the price was falling, and now we've seen a recovery. That means this exact key level now needs to hold, maybe with some positive news, so that we can finally see price increases again. And with XLP it's the same story. XLP is currently struggling with this support line, which I already showed you in the last video. Breaking down through it would be absolutely negative. Instead, the support should hold up here in this price range. This is also in the daily chart a strong liquidation zone here. But this consolidation, which we still had during this price increase, are areas that after such a breakout often get retested. We hope that it won't just get retested and then drop again, but that we can pick it up here, maybe consolidate further, and then see a breakout to the upside. That would be the ideal scenario. So let's also take a look at XRP. We also have this downtrend channel here, which has worked wonderfully, but not just this long downtrend channel. We've also had this descending trend here, which has served perfectly as support for us the whole time. And we should by no means break down below that. Instead, we should actually use this downtrend channel now to finally see a breakout here and at least reach the $2.60 mark again, returning to those highs, and then see how things continue from there. That's it for the update video. I've summarized everything as briefly as possible, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and comment. See you next time. Ciao, ciao.